All right, feed me the next question.
The age-old debate is what came first, the chicken or the egg? No,
I don't
truly, egg or sperm? Who has more influence,
Male
stallion or
female?
mare?
Okay. All right. I mean, anybody that has spent any time with me would know the answer to that.
Sure.
Right. So it's the mare. And like we've built our entire business on the fact that it is the mare. Right. And just recently we added stallions to the mix, but only so that we could be competitive, in the marketplace, really. But like our entire foundation was built on like very specific mares. And it has continued to pay us off 20 years later. So it started with a handful of mares, um, really 5 fillies, and 2 of them are still here. Well, one of them's still here. The other one died this year, but Western Montana, right? And then, a handful of fillies that we spent money on over the next couple of years that sort of has created this massive foundation for like horse wealth, I guess you would say, or that we continue to dip into now. I mean, you look at our race table, and it is full of those very specific families. And I mean, yes, we are very particular about what stallions we breed these mares to, but it's really with the mare in mind always, first, second, and third.
It's interesting as you say that. It makes me think about how investing in your mare base and having the focus on the female genetics while still breeding 2 top stallions, top prospects. But those are kind of available and generally can be available to any breeder, if they're willing to, take the risk and get involved in those stallions and all that. But like when you acquire that foundation mare or you start to develop a family and cultivate, like it really is like something to build off of. You have a base to work off of. Like if you didn't have that, well, then you're just doing more exploration and searching. Like the other day I was thinking about how breeding is kind of like mining.
Yeah.
Right. Mining. We look at maps, pedigrees.
Yeah.
We hypothesize about where something might be. We explore. In mining, you go explore, dig test pits. Then ultimately, we're all looking for a seam. We're all looking to strike gold.
Right.
And then mine that out, right? Like get everything we can out of those genetics, right? And so, like, let's say whenever you realized you'd struck gold, whatever that was, probably pure country days, I'm guessing with Western Montana specifically, you're like, okay, her 4th foal is an all-time champion.
And I think that's what I said at the beginning was like, give me 4 chances. If they can't do it in the first 4 chances, they're unlikely to do it. That's kind of been my
four chances. Talk about that. Like why is 4? Why not 5? Why not 3? Why not 2?
I mean, that's just kind of the average that I had worked out through all the data and record keeping that I had done prior to starting, in my mid-20s.
So give us you always remind me about her first 3. Western Montana, the foundation mare.
I mean, like a bad individual, the wrong sire, the right sire, but had some bleeding issues. And then came pure country, and it was like, it's either this one or not.
Because she was so nice.
She was just different.
And
and I don't know. I mean,
had it all going.
It might
she was
be
a
weird.
Sun Beach filly that was big and
but I don't know that she was like, I mean, anybody that's seen her, like, she's not the prettiest horse on the planet. In fact, she's pretty ugly. And she's masculine and kind of in your face and just kind of like, ugh. But that worked.
Well, that family, would you say that looks in general are only skin deep?
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't. I mean, we've put 1 or 2 in the marketplace ever and have not been paid for them, right? We sold Arson for 85,000, Captain Treacherous colt. And he ended up making 300 and something thousand.
Yeah, he broke down.
But I mean, we saw it this year with yearling sale clients, right? That have 2 fillies from that same maternal side, and the sale companies in Lexington and Ohio said, "Nope, sorry, not you."
Maybe not considered for everybody. Right. Where we're like, this is our gold.
Exactly.
This is our seam.
Yeah,
we hit this seam back in
Long time ago.
2019, and we're mining it, right?
Well, I mean, she was born in 2013, so it was like,
yeah. And we're in that seam, and I mean, the folks out there probably wouldn't believe it, but there's probably between 10 and 20 direct influences of these genetics in the herd that are actively more explorations going on. Okay, where does this seam go? Is it going to move east? Is it going to move west?
I mean, we have a sister to Pure Country, right, Fable, that we've been waiting for a filly. And she just had a filly just the other day. She had 7 colts in a row. And we've thought about selling her and just moving on from her. But we've been waiting for this one filly. We actually had her sexed last fall. And it was like, all right, the person we asked to do it has been right for like multiple years in a row. And so it was like, all right, we'll keep her one more.
Yeah. Got our Captain Treacherous filly, which will have good possibilities down the line. So we're mining our seam that we've decided is best for us to focus our resources on. And yes, we have exploration going on here and there and everywhere, but like the main objective is to mine really 2 or 3 seams at this point in the pacing line.
Yeah. And now, circling back to your question, you know, if we were solely like yearling sale sellers, right? If we put everything into the marketplace, my answer might be slightly different, right? Because you've got to sell what's popular, right? I mean, you look through what we consider our homebred group and you look at the stallion choices, like most people would probably kind of shiver. Like we're breeding, 5 of our very best mares to Sabonis, right? Who is this on a well-said, or, you know, from the well-said line. And it's like what we're looking to create multiple years down the road, or even multiple generations, right? That provides a little bit of blood that we need to kind of help our herd. And so again, focusing on the mare, you know, maybe pushing the stallion to second class.
Yeah. And in some ways, like focusing on future maternal iterations, right? Like some of those Sabonis matings, massive risk. I think we're almost rooting, even though it would be amazing to have a sire out of that line, we're almost rooting for a filly to then cross back to the more commercially available sire lines that we have access to.
Because then what do? You have Sweet Lou or Seaside mares, and then who do you breed them to, right? Like if you get you know, we have a mare, you know, geocentric, that we find very tricky to breed.
Yeah, so everybody knows geocentric, but you know, she is a Sweet Lou
out of a
mare
beach
now, out of a beach. So
it
always
leaves
Mickey,
us very
Bulldog
little
Hanover,
options.
a few other options.
I mean, thank God for Bulldog right now, and so he provides like a little outcross there. But,
we used Legendary in his first crop year last year,
and
we got
beautiful.
a nice
very happy with that one.
So while we're on the topic, I always want to get into this, and it is the math. Okay, so the math of mares and matings. So all you hear, you go to any mixed sale, you go to any horse sale in the standardbred business, you hear, oh man, I can't wait to get me one of them Sweet Lou mares, or I can't wait to get me one of them Walner mares, or oh, I need me a Chapter 7 mare so bad, you know. And it's like, okay, like the stallions are who we talk about, right?
Yeah.
But they're only 50% of the equation. I mean, the female genetics in every mating are exactly 50% of the equation, yet we talk about them, 10% of the time? And so when people go to talking about broodmare prospects, what do they talk about? The wrong thing, the stallion.
But I will say, though, that most of the best ones, the ones that bring the most money, usually do have like great females. Usually.
Absolutely, no question. But what I'm getting at is this idea that everybody wants this one sire's broodmare or broodmare prospect is just wild to me. That's just because it's packaged into something we can understand.
Well, the trends. Well, people love trends, right?
Yeah.
So we had, Confederate and Cannibal. They were the only 2 that were bred Sweet Lou over Rock and Roll Dance, right?
Yeah.
And so what happened the next year for Sweet Lou's crop?
Yeah, it's our
a
ability.
bunch of Rock and Roll Dance mares.
Yeah, and as a stallion, like say a Sweet Lou or whomever down by the seaside achieves certain success, like they get a following. And so, of course, people want their females. And I think there's plenty of good females for all those stallions, and you can do absolutely fine. I'm just saying, why isn't anybody talking about, I want one out of this maternal line, or I want one out of that maternal line?
But they're not, it's not common.
The sire maybe doesn't.
Actually, the smartest people are talking about that, right?
Yeah, it's really but what family can you buy into, almost no matter who the actual sire of that horse is. And in a lot of cases, there's more value if it's an off-brand sire or a stallion that doesn't have issues on who you're going to cross to.
I mean, we have a friend and client who's asking us to price out his mare right now, right? By an off-brand sire, right? But she's had tremendous success already.
Yes, she has.
As a brood mare.
Should make her even more valuable than the next one. Like if she's a Sun Beach mare, she should maybe be less valuable than she happens to be.
But she's not going to be, right, because of the sire.
No, she's not. To the market, right. She's more valuable if she's a Sun Beach.
Which is
I think that's ass backwards.
Right, I agree.
And it's taken me a while to understand it, but we are trying our best in our little world to play some 4D chess, and so we're trying to look at things totally differently. But that would be my piece: is don't ever forget that the female is 50% of the equation, and when it comes down to all the genetics, oftentimes their influence can be greater than 50%.
I was going to say, like, we would value the female side at more than 50%.
And then if you look at their future, in that basically a maternal genetics can live on forever, essentially.
Then they should be worth 80 or 90%.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was thinking about was, all right, let's say you say, I really want a Sun Beach somewhere broodmare. I've never had one. They're awesome. I just want one. Or I want a Captain Treacherous broodmare, whoever it might be. You go out there and you buy that, right? Well, you're only getting 25% of that at the most, right? Because the sire was only 50% of the equation for that horse.
Yeah.
Right. So the sire's influence actually, if you just breed on sire lines or you just buy on sire lines, like it's not as big of a part of the equation as the maternal. And I've learned that from you. So credit to you. And you guys can learn that from us as well. And we'd love to get your thoughts on it because nature's a mystery and none of us actually know.
No,
which is maybe the best part.
Yeah.
But we live it every day and we like to act like we're picking up on some trends and halfway know what we're doing. So with that, keep watching our questions and answers, our conversations here on Creekside Chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And engage
comment
with us,
below.
right? Comment.
Yeah.
Tell
I need
us what
100
you like.
comments on this question. 100.
Great.
If I don't get 100, I'm going to do it
We're
myself.
going to do it again. We may have to have the conversation.
Make the internet watch this over.